Hello, Matt Payne here from Amber Paths. Great to be connecting with y'all again and continuing our tutorial series on using advanced technology to help you with your wellness business or organization, giving you more time back to serve your community, more time back for yourself to do what you love and enjoy, and reconnecting with what got you into this business in the first place. Today, we're going to be exploring the idea of building an application using advanced technology in a way that's very simple and straightforward. We're going to be using a product called Lovable to do that today, and I'm going to walk you through step by step on how to accomplish that goal. Really, there's three things that we're going to be going through today is how to set up a new project in Lovable, how to take that project and to make it branded and on theme for your business. And third, how to publish it and get it available for use in another part of your business, such as your website, or as a publicly available link for people to use. So thank you again for your time, and I'm looking forward to exploring this topic with you today. All right, let's get right into it. So today we're going to build an application for our own use with our wellness organization. The purpose of this app will be for onboarding new clients and getting to know them prior to a session. Again, something very typical for wellness organizations. The technology we're going to be using is called Lovable, and you get to that through Lovable. There's a few different Lovables out there, so that's the one we're using today, Lovable.dev. You enter in there and you get a very similar chat type interface that we see with a lot of the technology tools these days. The cool thing about Lovable is that it takes your idea, your chat interface, and actually builds something that you can use. It could be a simple application that you deploy on your website, or you could use it as a standalone app to engage with your community, clients, or potential clients. And again, we're using the onboarding just as a typical case study, just to get you familiar with what's possible with some of these new technologies. So I'm going to start with a simple prompt here. And again, this is for onboarding of potential customers or clients. And the cool thing about Lovable is you can, again, just use very plain language when you're entering in what you would like to develop. So what I'm doing right now is describing the type of intake that I would like, a little bit about my business and describing that as a wellness practice. And again, this is just enough information that Lovable will be able to use to get going in the initial build. There are different things that you can do with Lovable. So you could you have the option of doing a plan where you start by just discussing some ideas if you're not exactly sure what you want. And that's a pretty cool way to get started as well. We're going to skip that step today and just go straight into the build of the application, again, to give you a sense of what's possible with some of these newer technologies. So I've got my prompt loaded there, different types of settings that you could use. So if you had some design specifications, a design format based on your website or your business, you could upload that. There are different types of technology pieces that you could add. We're going to keep it really simple and not explore those today and hold those for a different thing. Another cool aspect here with Lovable, you have the option to enter in voice mode. So rather than typing in a prompt, you can just talk to it. It can translate your voice to text, and you can build that way as well. So we're going to kick this off. So what happens here is, so Lovable has taken the chat, and you can see that it's now actually starting to develop the application. It describes what's happening along the way, the different steps that it goes through in the development life cycle as it's building out the application. Again, some of this is as reference. We don't need to necessarily understand or know what's happening behind the scenes, But I think it's quite cool of how Lovable keeps you engaged. It keeps you engaged and helps you to understand what's happening behind the scenes if you're interested. One of the things to call out here too is if you have entered a prompt and you think, oh, I forgot to tell it I wanted this other thing as well, you can queue that up as a follow-on topic there as well. So that was pretty quick, just a few minutes here. You can see what it's done. It's notified me that the app has been built. It describes what it's created, and then it gives me this preview over here of what it's actually created. And I can actually interact with this. I can type in different aspects of the form to test it out and see if I have any feedback for it. It looks like it's pretty good. It's done a pretty good job here. It gives you options where you can describe different things that you might want to, or these little chips, they call them, where you can quickly add in additional information. So for example, you could say, hey, let's add a privacy note into it. And what it does is it just generates that prompt for you. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to ask Lovable if it can take what's been created and to reference something about my business. I'm going to use my own business website, amberpass.com, to give it some inspiration for the theming and the branding of the form. And again, it would make it easier for me if I wanted to embed this within my website. It's already on form, on brand as well. So we're going to add that prompt in here to get Lovable to change the branding a bit to be a bit more like my website. And I'm curious to see if it's going to be able to actually go reference my website and to find more information as we go. Okay, great. So you can see already that it has gone out and it's found my website, Amber Paths. It's taking some of the branding cues from the website and then using that in the design process for the form itself. So I'm pretty excited that I can already get the visual that it's working and doing that analysis for me. So I don't have to go in and tell it, oh, make this button this color or make it this font. It will be able to read that and make those changes on its own. All right, it looks like it's completed the update. And I've noticed that the preview isn't showing up anymore. So I'm going to see if I can get this to refresh a little bit. I'll refresh the screen here and see if I can get this to work. All right, where I can see where Lovable has now come back, and you can, from the update here, see that it's able to go out to my website, find the palette for Amber Pass, and to also take the cue for some of the specific changes that I requested around changing the submit button to begin where you are, which is one of the taglines for my business. The updates over here, you can see those in the preview window from Lovable, which looks great. I'm really happy with the theme that it's created, and I want to continue going here. I'm also going to use one of these prompts here to give you an idea of how these chips work. So I'm going to add, let's see, the improve form validation. So again, I didn't have to type that in. I could just click on the chip and say, yeah, it'd be nice to make sure that we have valid email addresses coming in. So I'll submit that and let Lovable take that additional requirement and apply it to the onboarding application that was created. One of the cool things about the way that Lovable creates applications is it not only builds it to specification, but it also runs through testing cycles, as you can see from the update here that it's providing. It actually goes through and tests it and see if it fits the requirement that was specified earlier. Great. Well, that validation has now been applied to the form, so I won't have to worry about getting random email addresses that aren't formatted correctly. So that's great. Now, once that's complete, you can start to explore what to do with the form. You can see different types of information about what's available. Over here on the top right, you can explore publishing the project. It calls it a project, is essentially what you just built. So I'm going to open that up, and what it's done is it just created a templated URL or website link, essentially, for the application itself. For some of the more, for some of the subscription plans, I've just done all this with the free plan for some of the scripts. So now let's take a look at what we can do with the application that we've just built with Lovable. Up here in the upper right, you can see this publish your project. That's essentially the application that we just built using Lovable in only a few minutes. It defaults a website link that you can use. It just created this based on characteristics of the project that we built together. For some of the subscriptions from Lovable, you can also use your own custom domain. I did all of this just now with a free plan, which has some limitations on the amount of credits or tokens that you can use. But certainly, as you can see, it was good enough for us and what we were looking to do today. So I'm going to continue using this defaulted app this app link that was created. And again, what it's saying is for the free version of Lovable, it's going to publish it on the public internet, which is okay. I'm not too worried about this particular application that we built. For some of the other subscriptions, you can make it only for your viewing or only for your business or select team members within your business. So those are options you can look at with some of the subscription plans. Again, these are in the magnitude of $15, $20 a month. That's the sort of range that we would be expecting for using this type of technology on an ongoing basis if you were building things frequently for your business. So I'm going to continue that and just keep going through the publication things. I can specify a title or the type of application is going to be. Looks like it auto-populate the description if needed. I'm going to leave the social image fine. So another cool thing about Lovable is it'll be checking for things like security or other aspects to keep in mind. So this particular one, we're going to just drill down into it here. It could be something, but I'm just going to ignore it for now. All right, so once I entered in a title for the application, looks like it'll auto-populate a description, and I'm going to continue to publish the application that we just built together. So you can now see that the app has been published. I'm going to copy that and show you what it looks like. So if you were to look at my website, which I'll just show you quickly, amberpass.com, you can already see that theming wise, very similar look and feel to what we had just created using Lovable. And, again, really nicely done. The way that they have laid out the form feels very much on brand. And I'm excited about the possibilities of what you can do with these types of technologies to help you take back more time for yourself, for your community, and look forward to working with you more on this. Thanks. All right. So now that we've taken a look, that wraps up the validation aspects of what we created together. You can now go back and work on another app or continue to refine this particular form. One option might be in the future to then integrate this with your website, which again is another topic that we can cover and go through together. Thank you again for spending time with me today, walking through how you can use advanced technology to build applications based on your ideas and things that you feel would help improve your business for your clients and for yourself. Whether or not you actually need a separate application to do something like client onboarding, that's not really the point. The thing to keep in mind here is that you can take ideas and create very on-brand applications that you can use with very little time and very little technical knowledge or expertise. So wrap that around your creativity and taking your ideas and being able to translate them into new applications. I'd love to explore this more with you. If you're interested in meeting up for a coffee or learning more about our services at Amber Paths, please reach out to us at hello@amberpaths.com, or you can check us out on amberpaths.com. Thank you again for your time and have a good day. Take care.